Hey everybody, this is Jim of Animateducated, and I just got back from the screening of In Your Dreams, a new Netflix animated film, and I got to see the question and answer with the director of the film, Alex Wu. So if you haven't seen the film already, you might not want to watch this yet, because there are a couple spoilers in here that might affect your viewing enjoyment. So otherwise, you can check this out. This is a Q&A with Alex Wu.
Alex promised me it doesn't smell. Welcome. I'm Janet Yang, and I'm super delighted to be here tonight to have this conversation with director Alex Wu. It does seem like, from the response, that you all enjoyed the film very much, as I did. Very touching. Let's start, Alex, by asking you, how did you have the idea to make this film?
So it all started back in 2016. So I used to work at Pixar. I was a story artist there for like 10 years. And then I got the itch to leave and start my own thing. And I convinced two of my friends to leave and do it with me. It was like a crazy idea, which is why we named the company Cuckoo Studios, because crazy
That's
studios
double
sounds
entendre,
stupid.
by the way. It means something else in Chinese. So I love that, cuckoo and
Crazy,
cuckoo.
yeah. So yeah, we spent that first year just sort of dreaming up ideas for shows and movies that we wanted to see that we felt like nobody else was making. And one of the ideas that we stumbled upon was a movie about the world of dreams. And when we came across that idea, we just couldn't believe that nobody had done an animated movie about the dream world, at least in Western animation. Because it's this big universal experience. It's a big world that you can explore, that really can only be explored in animation, because in dreams, like, anything can happen and you can do anything in animation. So we got really excited about that. But once we started developing the idea, we realized, oh, this is why nobody's done it. It's because it's really hard to give a dream movie stakes. Because, because anything can happen, nothing really means anything. And so we had to figure out how to give this movie stakes and give it emotion. And for some reason, I thought of this thing that happened to me when I was a kid, and to me and my family. When I was like about 6 years old, I woke up one morning and my mom, she had her bags packed, and she was like at the front door of our house, and she like had to gently explain to me and my brother that she was leaving for a little while. And she told us that she had to figure things out for herself and for her family. My parents got married very young, and I think parenthood was sort of thrust upon her, and so she just needed to figure things out for herself. And obviously as a kid you don't really understand that, and I didn't really know what was going to happen. All I knew was everything in my life was going to change, and that was really difficult for me and my brother. And so this movie is very much sort of like me processing my sort of childhood trauma, I guess, because I'm too cheap to pay for therapy.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. And so yeah, it was sort of the combination of this sort of really personal story of what happened to me and my family, and then combining it with this big fantastical world of dreams that gave birth to this film.
It's interesting because there was the uncertainty in the real world of what was going to happen with the family, but then the certainty of the dream world.
Yeah.
It was a very, very specific, concrete thing. I just out of curiosity, have you ever done dream analysis? Because I have a son who's studying to be a therapist, and Jungian dream analysis comes up a lot in conversations with many of the people I know. I just thought to ask.
I have not done it myself, because like I said, I'm too cheap for therapy. But we studied it a lot.
Too Chinese, too.
Yeah, exactly, too Chinese. No, I mean, we did a lot of research on this film, and we tried to find, a lot of actually common dreams that happen to a lot of people, and sort of the Jungian archetypes of those characters and of those dreams, and put them into the film. So you have the classic, like the flying dreams, you have the teeth falling out dreams, you have the falling dreams. So a lot of those things were sort of inspired by the research that we did. But a lot of the dreams were also just really random and really specific, and unique to me and to our crew. So when we started the film, we gave everybody on our story team a dream journal, and we we asked them to write down all the dreams that they were willing to share, because you're not always, you don't always want to share all the dreams that you have. And a lot of those actually inspired the dreamscapes that we ended up putting in this film.
Did you keep a dream journal as well?
Um,
And share it with the crew? It's
a lot
unfair,
of,
they got everybody else's dreams and didn't
I
necessarily-
didn't. I mean, I don't. I had a dream journal that that we gave to the crew. I didn't write a lot of mine down because they ended up in the script in the film. So I mean, the naked dream is like verbatim the dream that I've had since I was a kid, and there's something like really poetically cruel about that dream, because I'm always naked. I'm in a department store surrounded by clothes, and I can't wear them. Even though that's the thing that I want the most. So I don't know what it means, but that dream was like,
Let's do it. Anybody here?
Yeah,
do
does
the
anybody
analysis?
done
Let's
Young
tackle that one
analysis?
for
We need to
starters.
call your son.
Ah, wonderful. Well, this is your first film, which is quite amazing. Congratulations. I can't help but mention that next week is when nominations begin,
Yeah.
and so we're rooting for you. What was it like shooting I know you've obviously been working in animation for a while, but this is one where you were, really at the helm. What did you learn along the way?
I mean, it was such a wonderful experience. I mean, it felt like everything that I'd done in my entire life. I mean, even just my own family life has sort of prepared me for this film. So it was wonderful. I think making movies is like I always say that it's like cooking a really great meal for all your friends. You slave over the stove for like hours making this incredible meal, and you just want to invite people over and then have them enjoy the meal. And so that's what this film was for me, is like me and all of my friends, all my art nerd friends, cooking and preparing this film, and then releasing it out into the world and just hoping that people enjoy it and love it. And yeah, as like a first-time director, I mean, the things that I learned the most is really that you just got to be honest, I think, with your work. That's really what makes people pay attention, and I think that's what makes art valuable, is the honesty and like the truth that you're telling in your work. And so, a lot of times you can get really nervous about being that vulnerable, because you're putting yourself out there for the world to see and judge, essentially. But that's actually what makes people pay attention, and that's what makes them connect with your work. And so that was probably the biggest lesson that I learned on this film.
Well, the other thing, I've only worked on one animated film, Over the Moon, also a
Which
Netflix
is
film.
fantastic.
3 years ago, it was nominated, but what I learned is, if we're going to use the analogy of preparing a meal, well, people would be starving to death if they waited for the meal to get done.
Oh,
It's
yes.
a long process, and to hold the vision that you have in the beginning and carry it out until the very end, years later, I mean, that's, no small feat.
Yeah, I mean, we came up with this movie in the beginning of 2017, and it's like 2026 now. So yeah, it's been a 9-year journey. I joke, human babies take 9 months to make, and animated movie babies take 9 years. So yeah, it's been a very long process and a long journey, but it's. I think that's why actually animated movies tend to be, so good, because they have this long gestation period, and you can really refine and iterate on the story. I mean, that's one of the things I learned so much at Pixar, is how much they iterated on the story, and they would not stop until literally the producers took the film away from them. There was this, they had this saying that we don't finish our films, that we're just like forced to release them. And that's kind of how I feel about this film. Every step of the way, every moment we had, every extra week they gave us, we were just trying to improve the film and make it better. So yeah.
Your story it reflects some of your personal life, and one area which I can't help but notice is that it was an interracial family, which you rarely see on screen. Tell me about the choices you made for that, and even in front of and behind
Yeah.
the screen.
So that came from, so my co-director, Eric Benson, is, white American. I'm Chinese American. And so we felt like it would make a lot of sense if each of the parents represented our sort of cultural point of view and cultural heritage. I also hadn't seen a lot of mixed race characters, especially in animation, and I grew up around a lot of happy opposites, like you like to call them, because in Hong Kong, it used to be a British colony, so there's a lot of like interracial marriages and a lot of children that were born from those marriages, and a lot of those children are my friends, and so I wanted to see that on screen. But really, the main reason we did it was because we wanted to make sure that when the parents obviously have conflict in this film. But we wanted to make sure that that there was no one parent that was at fault, and that they just had different points of view on what they felt like good parenting was, and what they wanted, what their dreams were for their life and for their family. And so we thought it would be helpful if each of the parents came from a different cultural background, and so it could really help you understand why they viewed things so differently. So yeah, that was one of the reasons we chose to make the characters have sort of different ethnic heritages.
And also, I happened to grill him before this Q&A. So, you had a younger brother, but you chose to make the older sibling a girl.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us why.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very much Stevie. I'm like the obnoxious, perfectionistic, type A older sibling, and my brother's very much Elliot. He's very charming and funny and a little gross. Don't tell him I said that. But yeah, so I made Stevie a girl because when we were crafting the story, something felt a little off about a young boy being so concerned with his parents' relationship. But for some reason, when it was an 11 or 12-year-old girl, it just kind of made sense. And also, I think, especially young girls, they deal so much with perfectionism. They always, they're expected to be perfect. They want to be perfect. The society, expects them to be perfect. And that was very much Stevie's sort of flaw. That's the thing that she had to learn, that life is not perfect, and that's okay. That families are not perfect, people are not perfect. So that's why I chose to make Stevie a girl.
And it's so touching that I think for me, the message was they have each other no matter what. What else did you want to leave the audience with?
I mean, that was a big one. Me and my brother, we helped each other get through all the challenges that our family went through and continue to go through. But really, it has to do with this culture of perfectionism that I feel like, especially in America, there's so much pressure on people to make their dreams come true, right? I mean, American culture is all about achieving the American dream. And I think at some level that's really healthy. I mean, that's what makes America exceptional and unique in the world. But the dark side is that if you don't achieve your dreams, you feel like you're a failure, or that you did something wrong, or that you're a loser. And I felt that, and I just think that that's not right. It's not, it's not the right way to think about things. And so I made this movie to try and sort of counter that pressure. And hopefully the takeaway is that life is imperfect, people are imperfect, and life is really messy, but getting through that mess with the people that you love, that's really what makes life meaningful. And so that's thematically what I was trying to do with the film. And that's why Stevie and Elliot, they have each other, and that's how they get through this whole journey.
It's funny because I associate that perfectionism with Asian culture.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure here with us,
Yeah.
to go to that perfect school
Yeah.
and get that perfect job and have the perfect family. with the right income and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it probably apply to many different cultures.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think especially when you're Chinese American, it's like you have the double
whammy.
Yeah, you have the double whammy, which I very much felt as a kid. So.
I'm kind of curious. This is such a lively audience. Can I open it up for questions? I'm allowed to do that, right? Anybody have questions? Yes, there's one there and one there.
Can you talk about the homages to other movies?
Oh yeah. I wonder if you caught them all. There's quite a few. I mean, I love movies, obviously, and I tried to give homages to all the films that I loved growing up. So, E.T. was a big one for me. Labyrinth was like a huge film for me as a kid. So the Sandman's Castle is like really inspired by the design of Labyrinth. All the Miyazaki movies like Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke were big inspirations for me, Totoro. And so the Sandlings are sort of my version of the soot sprites from those films. So yeah, even the song, the Mr. Sandman song, one of my favorite movies is Back to the Future. And that song is in that film. And so that was a big inspiration for the Sandman character and wanting to include that song in this film. So yeah, this is like my love letter to all the movies that I loved as a kid. I just tried to pack them in there. So.
Yes, over there and then over there. Yes.
Have you ever lucid dreams, and what about? Or what would you like to lucid dream about?
Oh, that's a great question. I have lucid dreamed once, and it was when I was really young. I'm a big basketball fan, and I lucid dreamed that I could play basketball like Michael Jordan. It was the best dream I've ever had. And then I woke up and I do not play basketball like Michael Jordan. Yeah, that was the only time though. Occasionally I have dreams where I'm like flying and I can sort of control things, but it's actually very much like in the film when Stevie and Elliot fly up to the castle. Like it's not like you're flying like Superman. You're kind of like floating and you're just trying to like stay upright. So that's what I described to my animators for that scene. And so I guess your next question was, if I could lucid dream, what would it be about? I probably want to go back to that Michael Jordan.
Thank you.
Keep trying. Keep trying. Yeah. I saw another hand over here. Yes.
Are you from Minnetonka, Minnesota?
I'm not, but I am from St. Paul, Minnesota.
Do you know that place?
I'm from
Oh, you are? Oh my gosh.
I live
Well,
right there.
And I have a little brother who's 6 years younger than me.
oh my gosh. Is his name Elliot?
His name is Alejandro.
Wow, it's great to meet another fellow Minnesotan. Yeah, I grew up in Arden Hills. I don't know if you know that town, but it's just like a small suburb of St. Paul.
But sending love to Minnesota.
We want to send special love to Minnesota.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Man, great story, of course, great movie. I was wondering, that talking to you had briefly about perfectionism. Have you solved it? Have you, what's your journey? I think we all perked up a little bit, like, what?
Yeah.
I would love to know more about that.
I wish I did. I think I was hoping that this movie would solve it for me, but it didn't. I mean, I think it's funny. When the movie came out, you get the Rotten Tomato score, and I think our Rotten Tomato score is like 86%, and it's like not bad, but as a I'm like, man, it bugs me. And I just have to tell myself the message of the film, it's okay, but yeah, I don't know, it just, I don't think I'll ever grow out of it, unfortunately. So, yeah, I wish I could tell you that I've evolved and I've been enlightened, but yeah, I'm still, searching for that 99% Rotten Tomato score.
We're with you.
That's the next one.
There's always room. Yes. Not there, sir.
Me?
Yes.
I wonder if that bed was inspired by Little Nemo.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Winsor McKay.
Smart audience.
I know.
Getting older.
Did you see the Little Nemo comic book in there? That
Yeah.
Yes, hugely inspired by it. I was a big fan of the Little Nemo and Slumberland comic. I watched the animated movie that they made in the '80s, which was okay, but as a kid I loved it. But yeah, I mean that comic has been so inspirational. I mean, it was actually the Little Nemo and Slumberland. The IP is now public domain. I think it's been public domain for I don't know 10 or 20 years or something. When I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to pull it off, but there's an animation test that one of our animators did with Bed that was sort of like our aha moment. And it was when he had the bed sort of sit down like a dog, and then the bottom slat comes down, and then the corner of the bed sheet comes out, and he starts panting like a dog. When we saw that, we were like, oh my gosh, this movie is totally going to work, and that character is totally going to work, because I didn't want to anthropomorphize the bed design-wise and put eyes and a mouth. It just would have looked bad. But we still wanted to find a way to turn it into a character. And that test was what made us realize this movie's gonna work, and that character's gonna work.
It's brilliant.
Thank you.
What else are you working? Oh, sorry. There's another question. Somebody. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about Baloney Tony, where he came from.
Yeah. So, our first draft of the script, we actually didn't have Baloney Tony, and then I know, it was really boring. The movie was so bad. No, it was really we realized that we needed a dream guide for.
It can't be.
And
My long-lost favorite stuffed animal, Baloney
But
Tony.
wouldn't it be funny if the guide
I knew I smelled something rotten.
It's Gandalf really hated Frodo. And we thought that's such a funny idea. So that's really where Baloney Tony came from. This idea that you had a guide character who really didn't like the main character. And then, the fact that he was has a baloney pocket and is disgusting and smells. There was sort of two sources of inspiration for that. So my co-director Eric, when he was a kid, he had a My Pet Monster. It was his stuffed animal, and there was the monster had a belly, and there was a pop seam in there, and he would hide all of his valuables inside, all his snacks that he didn't want to share with his siblings, because he had 3 siblings, and they were always stealing his snacks and stealing his toys, so he hid everything in there. So that's where the idea of the baloney pocket came from. And then the idea of him being this kind of messy, gross stuffed animal came from my brother's stuffed animal. When we were kids, my aunt bought us these matching Santa bears, which are these these polar bears with Santa hats. And my brother had a bloody nose one day as a kid, and we stained the rear end of his stuffed animal, so you can imagine what it looked like. And me being the older brother, I tortured him and I called it Butthole Bear. And it just stuck, and he hated it. It made him so angry. But he still kept this thing with him every night, slept with it every night, carried it everywhere. And I just thought that's such a beautiful image, and it's thematically so much of what this movie is about, which is embracing the mess, right, of life and things. So thematically, that's sort of where Baloney Tony came from.
I think we have time for just one more. I was going to ask you anything you can share about what we can look forward to seeing in your work.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm so focused on just promoting this movie, but yeah, I have another original animated feature that Greg and I worked on together. We would love to get that off the ground. And then our studio, Cuckoo Studios, has another kids show that's pretty far along in development at Netflix. So we're hoping we can get a green light this year and put it out into the world. And then, we'll see if Netflix wants to do another one.
Here's that Netflix? Yes.
Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that question answer with writer-director Alex Wu of In Your Dreams. And I have other question answers below. I also interviews and other fun stuff about animation. You can check it out on this channel. If you enjoyed this question and answer in any way, you can press that button right there to subscribe, or you can take a look. I got other videos up here you might be interested in, and we'll see you next time on Animated Educated.